the people, even though don't speak about the race, some people feel that they are different to the other people, especially when the people come from the other countries.
So if I came from a different country and I did not speak about race, how would you know who I am?
Yes, it's true, no?
A lot of people have told you that you speak like a black girl.
Yes. First of all, I'm half Mexican, half white, right? So that already is like very confusing.
Pretty much all the friends that I have now, and they are all, none of them are Hispanic, they're all American.
Like when people guess my ethnicity, if they don't guess Latina, they guess black. And then I was like, okay, why black? Like, I mean, not that it offends me. And they're like, oh, you just speak like a black girl. And I was like, okay, whatever that means.
That's interesting. Do people say that you're Latina also?
Yes, they do. I don't know what gets them mixed up. I don't know if it's the fact that I think a lot of people assume that because I speak, English well, either I don't follow like my nationality, where I, don't embrace it, I guess, or they think that I'm, African American or black or,
I think that people make a lot of assumptions, I guess.
In education.
We need to get to know our kids. We need to treat the kids not equally, but fairly.
They respect me, but sometimes with another substitute doesn't respect them.
When you say them, what do you mean specifically?
Because I am friendly with student.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this North Brunswick, the culture different than I cover also in Monroe.
Mm-hmm. What's it like in Monroe?
Monroe, the kids different.
Okay.
Different. They so respect. The class is so quiet. If any noise come out, if you set them stop, they stop until the end of the class.
Mm. Now that you're at an age where you say that you identify more as Latina, or maybe you found an awareness or connectedness to being Latina?
Well, as a little girl, you grow up with like both of them being equally as important, but then you're bashed more for one than the other in school. So then that sort of influenced me, I guess, a little bit throughout middle school especially. But like as I've grown up, I've like begun to feel like more comfortable with my identity, being like, Chicana and being white and being able to embrace both of them. So
When you say bashed, what do you mean?
maybe not bashed, but just like all these stereotypes like thrown in my face, like all these.
Like last night in front of the Board of Ed, the panel, and they liked it. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Wow, I'm impressed. Do you think your nationality is a disadvantage at times?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
I think that people make a lot of assumptions, I guess, like just because I'm Indian.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like
what assumptions do you think?
Like some people just either assume that like I'm like only good in studies, that I can't be good in like sports because like we're just known for being really smart, or like being creative. And I guess also in college, like a lot of colleges don't want like an Asian community anymore. They like focus more on like they want a smaller percentage of us now because there's so many applicants, so it's a much harder chance of getting into college too.
Interesting. Wow.
So I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic and Italian area in Hudson County, North Bergen, and so that's what I grew up with. And then I didn't really meet people from many other cultures until college, when I went to Rutgers. And that's where I met pretty much all the friends that I have now. And they are all, none of them are Hispanic, they're all American.
Would you say that your Hispanic side comes from your parents?
Yeah, parents, family, like that's, where I get all of that.
A lot of Latin students, Latino students, find it difficult to separate their home life activities, habits, behaviors, way of speaking when they come into like a social setting like high school. I'm sure you experienced something of that nature. Were there Hispanics that you felt like, oh, when I'm in school, you guys kind of remind me of my family, so I want to turn that on? Did that ever happen?
Yeah, literally today, actually. So, well, it's not school work, but I had a student that I dealt with. She's very Dominican, like she's just like my cousins from the Bronx, like super Dominican. So with her, yeah, I like kind of turned on the Dominicanness.
Being bicultural, you see the world totally different. And for teachers, being bicultural, it allows you to understand certain things that your students are going through. If you want to pay attention to all your students and get to know them, you will have a better understanding of what they might be going through. Let's say, going back to the student that I mentioned to you, before I wasn't paying attention to him. Now I feel that the problem is the language, or it might be the culture. So now I can relate and I can understand what the student is going through. So as long as you put in the effort and you are bicultural, you will have a better understanding.
I see.
I was in remedial classes growing up, and I had a learning disability, and I found it hard to get out. It's not until I got into high school where I finally pushed myself to finally get into mainstream. And it seems like when you're in those type of classes, it's like you kind of just gravitate to the level of what's supposed to be acceptable for that class. If you're in a higher level class, I feel like you kind of lift yourself up. I guess that's almost in anything you do in life.
It's interesting that you're saying, because one of the conversations that we've had is, let's make higher level classes more accessible to students that might not have those options. Like, what if you just threw in a mainstream student that you think wasn't fully prepared to grasp the concept of an AP class? What if you simply put them in an AP class and see how they operated?
To be honest with you, I think they will just gravitate to the level of what everyone's there. They might find it challenging, and it's also depending on their mindset. If they're willing to do the work, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do it. They might not get A's, but I'm pretty sure they'll be satisfactory. They'll be able to get B's and C's.
They'd want to step up.
Yeah, but their effort level will eventually catch up to the level that they want to attain.
We try to be a part of United States,
So now I see myself using English more than I use Spanish.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's bad that I'm a minority. I think it's like to my benefit.
We want to be better than what the average American thinks we are, I guess.
The fact that I had a strong effort level and work ethic eventually caught up to me.
When I was living in Mexico, I had different perspective of the United States. But when I came to the United States and I live here, I changed my concept.
Like I have my kids, and I always keep pushing to have the same ideas like white people. Don't forget where you're coming from. You have to keep pushing forward to be like the same kind of person. To be a Latino here is crazy, because for like the people from like North Brunswick, the authorities, sometimes they don't think it's something important. It's our problem too, because the kids, sometimes they just go to the school and they say, I just want to finish high school, and that's it. They don't look forward to have a better education, to be somebody in the future.
Why do you think they think that?
I believe it's too many problems, economic, because sometimes the fathers, they have the kind of jobs they have, they don't have the same opportunities like regular people, like the white people.
Do you think it's important for people to have a knowledge of different cultures so that they know how to participate in conversations with people from different cultures?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Could you repeat me, please?
I think people, they need to start using this in their head and this, you know, because I believe everybody's the same, you know, everybody's the same, and this is the best way to raise the kid, you know.
The white privilege, I don't think I've ever experienced that myself. I've always had to have a different view towards life, have a different perspective, because it's always been like, it's been tough growing up.
The expectation of how you should act as a minority, as a Dominican woman, you're supposed to have a temper, but I do have a temper, so that's like, I don't know if that's a self-fulfilling prophecy or what, but I do have a temper. Wonder, like, do people think that I'm here because I'm filling a quota, or do they truly believe in my abilities? You know, so.
So, would you call that an added obstacle that you have to face?
Oh, for sure. Well, as a minority, period. You know, that's something I tell the students. Like, unfortunately, this is the view that people have of us, of minorities. And when I see them not doing that, you know, fulfilling that stereotype, it gets me upset, because I say, like, there's people like me who have worked for many years and worked their lives, and their parents have worked their lives to, I'm getting emotional about it, to overcome that. And it gets me upset when the students fulfill that, because that's not us, you know?
Yeah, sure.
That's stupid.
Did you feel like you had to work hard to overcome some kind of stereotype?
I think so. I think some teachers put a stigma on you from the moment they see you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until they get to know you where it takes a while for them to try to break down those barriers to finally accept you for who you are. For example, when I drive a car, I make it a point to take off my hat or make sure I'm wearing Scully, so that it just, because you're driving at night or even during the day, you just so happily see a different shade with the hat. Boop, boop, I might just get pulled over.
Really?
And at a younger age, I may have been got upset. But now that I'm at an older age, I understand what society is.
Who targets you?
I don't want to say something like cliche, like, the man's putting me down.
Specifically, person at a cash register, policeman, teacher.
Policeman. I mean, policemen are like,
You,
immediately do
Jesus,
target.
from North Brunswick Township High School.
From North Brunswick Township High School. I have been targeted before.
Really? As in aggression, over questioning?
I get, yeah, definitely over questioning, because they immediately assume something's wrong.
So you'd say that's a real thing in North Brunswick?
Yeah.
Other kids?
Yeah, in North Brunswick.
You, others?
Yeah. Like, I mean, not just Hispanics, but like minorities in general.
Importance. Let's talk about the fact that you're not angry, the fact that, but that it exists in you.
Right.
And that came from something.
My kids are mixed, Black and Hispanic. So I get truly concerned that, not that people are gonna, I don't know about the view, but them, how they're gonna be as people. Are they going to fall into that stereotype because of, I guess, maybe how others view them and not do well in life? Or, are they gonna keep it in stride and be successful? It's like a very big worry that I have, because I've just seen, as a teacher, I've seen kids that come from, minority kids that come from really good families, and they fall into that stereotype because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do. I'm just scared. I am.
Not mad.
Oh, and then, yeah, I'm not mad about having to work harder. I'm not mad about all of that, because I think that's just been something that's something in me, that's something I've been raised to have. But I do understand that it's there. I don't think that my race and my, the fact that I'm Hispanic has held me back from anything at all. But I do understand that there is just, it's like something hanging over me, just to always strive. I'm never satisfied because I just feel like I always have to do more than the other person.
How often do your families talk about these types of things at dinner, let's say?
I think more often than like anyone would actually think, because we bring it up like a lot.
Why?
Well, I guess if anyone's like doing somewhat bad, and like if David's doing bad in his job, or like mom is like really like lost some sort of focus, or like we kind of like giving everyone like a boost. Like it's not criticism, it's like support. Like it's almost like a support system that we all have, that we all need. Like in our family, like we like getting support. So when we're like down in the dumps, like we always say, hey, like we're a minority, we have to do better to ensure like our future is better. My dad always says, si no pones las pilas ahorita, like if you don't like, you know, like buckle down, if you don't like the direct translation is get your batteries in, I guess, but like if you don't like get your batteries in, I guess, then you'll be working a lot harder in the future.
Today, even though I'm a substitute, I still graduate with a BS in civil engineering. Sometimes I think as myself as stupid, but that's just a self-suggestion. Like you can't put that into your own head.
Do you think that's common among many teachers to not go there, get to know the students in a way to understand why they're not engaged?
It is, and that doesn't mean it's done on purpose. You need to say, okay, this is a group, this is my objective. I'm going to teach to this group of kids, and at times you do not. It's not that you don't have time. You don't take the time to try to reach out to those other kids that are not as involved in the class.
I see.
People who have not seen African Americans or Latinos in their regular social circle outside of school. If you're inside school and you're just dealing with African American boys and Latino boys or females, and you don't deal with these individuals outside of school, you really don't know what's the cultural norms or what's acceptable in their culture. And I feel like as a teacher, you should make an effort.
25, I think the minorities sort of outnumber the whites, and I think it's just very important to acknowledge that, and to acknowledge how big of a part diversity plays in like how North Brunswick works and functions.